Hello everybody, Josh the Retro Gamer here. So I want to talk to you guys about something that just happened in the news recently. I'm sure you've seen or heard about the AtariBox, which is now the Atari VCS, right? Well, I just happen to have an Atari VCS here. BAM! Oh, okay, just kidding. I mean, this is actually, the original Atari VCS. So, yeah, but anyway, so that's the first thing that kind of annoys me about it. It's going to be confusing. Every time you Google Atari VCS, you're not going to get that. You're going to get the new Atari box. So now the Atari VCS. So that's kind of annoying. So my thoughts on the thing, I've gone back and forth on it. I initially was really excited about it when I saw like the clip that they showed last year at E3 or right before E3, like the little preview. I was like, whoa, this is cool. Like Atari is coming back in. They're going to do a branded Atari console. Like it's going to have tons of Atari stuff or play Atari games or all kinds of stuff. No, it doesn't do any of that stuff. As far as we know, it doesn't really play. I mean, it might have some games on it, but it's not going to play any of your old cartridges, any of your old games. Definitely not any Jaguar stuff, even though I love the Jaguar and I wish that it would. But on their website, you could sign up for their email stuff, so I did, and I just got a new email today that said, hey, check out our new Atari VCS, new controllers, play games and connect and stream. And I was like, okay, so there's a lot of speculation on it. We still don't know 100% what the system is. There's been a lot of dissection of the photos. The controllers look okay. I mean, the one controller looks like an Xbox controller, which a couple people have talked about. It's hard to tell. It looks like the front of the controller, there's like a little loop. I don't know what the little loop's for, like a lanyard ring or something. Like you carry the controller around with you, or I don't know what that's all about. But the updated Atari joystick looked actually kind of cool, especially if you use it to actually play Atari games. Well, the more I thought about this, the more I was like, I don't really want this. Like, I don't know that I want another entry into modern gaming, because it seems like they're kind of pushing for this to be a modern gaming streaming device that, happens to play some Atari games. And I was like, this just doesn't sound good, and especially depending on the price point. And the more I thought about it, though, the more I was like, well, maybe it's not marketed to me necessarily. So I'm 32 years old, so I was born in 1986, so I was a little while after the Atari 2600 came out. I mean, I love the Atari stuff, but I wasn't alive during the height of it. I wasn't a part of the culture of Atari and all of that. However, people that are a little bit older than me, maybe 35, 40, they kind of caught that whole wave, especially older than 40 a little bit. Like that was a thing to them. Like that was huge. That was video games. That was the dawn of a new era of all of that for them. So to them, that honestly this might be something that appeals to them. Us younger guys, we've got our Xbox One, we've got our PlayStation 4, we've got our Nintendo Switch, or our Xbox One X now, or whatever. But maybe for those guys that are into gaming that are a little bit older now, like they would really go for something that was an Atari, that looked like an Atari, that reminded them of Atari, had some Atari games that they could play, and on top of that, it was able to stream Netflix or stream other, services, video services for them, and they could have it as kind of a media entertainment hub. And maybe if they wanted to play like a Steam game or something, they might not have the setup or want to get all into like PC gaming, like maybe some of us would be. Like maybe they just want to be able to pick it up and play it. So the more I thought about it, the more I was like, okay, maybe there's a chance here. Maybe I'm missing the mark here. Maybe it's not meant for me. Like maybe it's meant for an older audience, kind of like the Nintendo Labo. Maybe that's targeted more for children, like not for the 20-somethings, 30-somethings, like the Nintendo Classic or the Super Nintendo Classic. Maybe it's intended for younger audiences for that, and the Atari's intended for older audiences. So anyway, just something I thought of today, and I was like, okay, maybe I shouldn't bash it so much. But honestly, for me, the things I would love to see from Atari, from what is Atari now, is if this was able to, like, kind of like the NES Classic, Super Nintendo Classic, had a bunch of original Atari games that I could plug up HDMI, play with the original, or similar to the original joystick, play some of those old games that are a lot of fun. I love playing on the original console. I have a bunch of random games for it, maybe, but that would be cool. Like, I'd be okay with like a little, kind of emulation box like that. Or if it happened to be, it's definitely pretty sure it's not this, but if it was like an FPGA or something where I could plug in my cartridges for like the 5200 or the 7800 or the 2600 and play like the original games on a newer system, kind of like we see now with the Super NT or the analog, Nintendo, or the AVS, the retro USB AVS. So those are kind of some other options there that could be potentially, in the works. And that would be awesome if it was something like that. Don't think it's going to really be either one of those things. I think they're still trying to hit that like streaming, PC gaming, maybe some Atari games on it, and that's kind of what they're going for. And Atari has also talked about a couple new games coming. They've got the Roller Coaster Tycoon coming for Nintendo Switch, and they've also got Tempest 4000 that they've talked about. And they could put that on this platform as well. It could come bundled with it maybe, or pre-installed. I think that would be awesome. I don't know the time frames for when those are being released, but I know they've talked about them. And I don't think they've given a release date for the Atari VCS now yet. I think they're planning to open pre-orders in April. So basically where I'm at is if we're talking about $100 to $150 system, okay, I might pick it up and try it out and play with it, maybe do a review on it. If we're talking like $250 to $300, I'm probably going to pass, because honestly, like, I don't need Atari games that way. I have a little Atari emulator thing that somebody gave me that you can just hook up to your TV. I've got an original Atari 2600. I've got an Atari 5200. I don't have an Atari 7800, even though I have some games for it. But I've got Atari stuff, so I can play that anytime I want to. I can pick up and play a lot of those games. Now, not all of them, because I don't have that big of a library of them, but I can pick up a few of them. So, and that fills that niche for me, but the people that are a little bit older than me that grew up with this, maybe this is really going to hit that nostalgia button for them, and maybe that's something they're really into. I was watching John Hancock. I don't know if you've heard of him, the immortal John Hancock. I'm sure you guys have heard of him potentially too, but he was doing a video on it, and he said he used to be very anti-everything with this, and now he's kind of middle of the road. And the more he talked about it, and talked about like what he liked and how big and how much he loved Atari, how huge Atari was for him as a child, I was like, oh my gosh, this makes so much sense. Maybe it's not directed at me. And so the more I think about that, the more I'm like, okay, that's cool. Like, if they want to do that, they want to hit that market, and they've kind of done enough testing to figure out that there's a huge need there, then, kudos for them. I still would love to see an official Atari product that brings us something like an NES Classic, or brings us a system that, even if it does some emulation, that we can plug our cartridges into just to get that connection to that nostalgia. Maybe hook up our old controllers too, or maybe have a wireless adapter or something like that. I mean, that would be amazing, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. So go check out the video. Go check out the pictures and the new links. I'll link all that stuff in the description as well, so you guys can check it out and kind of decide for yourself. And let me know in the comments what you think. Is this something you're going to pick up? Is it something you're interested in? What would you like to see from Atari? Even if this doesn't fit the need that you want, what would you like to see from them in the next couple years? As they maybe try to re-enter this market. So anyway, thanks again, guys. Like, subscribe. Let me know what you think.